How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Understable Podcast, episode number 55. I am one of your co-hosts, Brandon, and joining me is the other co-host.
Hello, everybody. Mark is here, and we are ready to bring you some more of disc golf information. It's been a while, but we're back for now, and hopefully we can continue to put episodes out even through the holidays. It's right around the corner. Can't believe it. Anyway, let's jump into this, Brandon.
Yeah, let's do it. So before we dive into the nitty-gritty of everything, we got to do the social media shout-outs. Mark, we will start with you. Where can everybody find you on social media?
All right, guys. If you go to Facebook, you can look me up. Just type my name in, Mark Boonstra. I'm probably the only one out there. Actually, I don't even know. YouTube, Mark Boonstra underscore disc golf. Check me out. I've posted some videos. Hopefully, I'll get back into that. And I will be posting an In the Bag for 2025 here, hopefully in the next month and a half or so. And then finally, Instagram, mark.boonstra.
Same thing for me. Instagram, you can find me, Brandon L. Schmucker, on Instagram. And you can also find my YouTube at 0_BLS. That is for Pokemon content. If you are into Pokemon, haven't uploaded in a while. It's been a busy year, Mark. It's been a busy year full of things that you didn't expect to happen. You know what I mean?
But before we forget, one last shout out. Check us out. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and even Discord. The Understable Podcast. You know who we are. Come join our community on Discord. Chat with us. And we'll be posting there more regularly. And also, it gives you a notification when we upload a new episode. So if you want to find out when we upload, there you go. Go to Discord.
Perfect.
Yes, Brandon, Beautiful. It has been a very busy year.
It has.
Although it's ironic, it's been busy, it's also been slow for the most part. Like for me, disc golf has been very slow this year. I ran my Friday night league and I played 3 tournaments and that was it. And that's just because, the economy's trash and I didn't renew my PDJ this year, so I wanted to limit how many tournaments I played. But it seems like it's been busy because where did the year go? We're already halfway through November.
Yeah. It's been one of those things. Like I've mentioned it already a couple times on the podcast that my wife tore her ACL right as spring started. So it was in April. And like at the heat of the season starting, like I couldn't really leave the house. So I'm not blaming her. It's not her fault. It's just I had to handle all that stuff behind the scenes, and that just requires me being home and just taking care of business. So I've been getting out and playing more now ironically and unfortunately as the season is ending, getting back into the swing of things. So it's going to be a cold, stiff winter, but I'll still be out there playing.
Hey, now's the time to practice, but
exactly. Yeah. You don't want to. It's better than just hunkering down and not playing throughout the winter.
If you can get a net off Amazon, and that way you can at least throw and keep your form true.
Yeah,
that's
one of the things I've always liked about disc golf is, it gets me outside even in like the bad like weather and the cold winters and stuff like that, because like otherwise what would I be doing? Chilling at home and like scrolling on my phone, just chilling on the couch. Like, unless I'm watching football, like, nah, you know what I mean?
I get it. Actually,
even then, dude, like my team sucks. So like
they all do this year.
Yeah. So
like, I don't know how are the Lions doing this year? Actually,
they're 8-1, dude. They're like literally the best team in the NFL.
Good. I like to hear
Bengals though. The Bengals are horrible.
Who day? I don't know.
Michigan's horrible.
Hey, well, rebuild year. Let's be real. Let's keep it realistic here. Whole new office, whole new team. I mean, let's be realistic.
Yeah, Dave Portnoy is going to get us a QB though, and it's going to be fine. Next year we'll be back.
Yes, I'm not worried. Yeah. All right, so let's bring it back to disc golf. And I also want to say thank you to Catalyst Disc Golf for the sponsorship for this year. Hopefully I can represent you again next year because I've enjoyed it. But let's jump into the meat and potatoes of the night, the main course.
Yeah. All right, buddy. So the meat and potatoes, the main course, there were some proposed rule changes. Many, if not all of them, have kind of gone through already. But there was one that we really wanted to kind of highlight and talk about. Do you want to lead us off on this?
Oh, go right ahead. It's all you, sir.
Okay. So, amateur divisions starting to go to true amateur, also going to be referred to as trophy only, is the designation used by the PDGA in reference to those amateur events at A tier and below, or amateur portions of events which promote the true spirit of amateur athletics by presenting only trophies to the top finishers of the tournament rather than a payout in merchandise. So I did read that verbatim. What that means in a nutshell is the amateur side of tournaments is going to trophy only. That is what you can win, is trophies to the top finishers. Now, top finishers, I'm guessing that is going to depend on the size of the field. But I mean, I'm guessing 1, 2, 3 will be your standard. If you are in a division of only 3 people, there's probably only going to be a trophy for first. Things like that. Now, the other part of this is, and I'm going to do some verbatim reading again before we kind of simplify what a lot of this means. Part B of this. So you're only getting a trophy. Well, what are you getting with your money that you spent, buying into the tournament? All players in the event receive equal value through player packs. A player pack may consist of commemorative items and or tournament amenities. The combined retail value of the player packs in a given division should meet or exceed the value of the tier required minimum payout for that division. For example, if a 6-person division's tier required minimum payout is $240, each player pack must be worth at least $40. Any initial thoughts? Basically, what they're saying here is your money that you spent on this, you are going to get back in players pack. So there's less for you as a competitor, as an amateur competitor, to lose. You don't buy in and donate. Like the idea of donating in amateur divisions is no longer a thing. Mark, do you have any thoughts on this before I rattle off some of the things that can be included in the players pack?
At first glance, I'm kind of indifferent on this because I used to play tournaments specifically for the player packs, for the stamp discs, all that good stuff. I knew I wasn't good enough to cash most of these events. So I kind of looked at it as a means to get cool stamp discs and have things to display on the wall. Mm-hmm. As I've progressed in my career in disc golf, I've kind of changed that focus to now personally I would rather get a payout, even if that's just store credit to Hazy Shade or whoever the vendor is, that I can go pick out what I want. Now, more recently, the last couple of years being on Team Prodigy, I haven't really had anything I've needed to buy from a store. I get everything wholesale through Prodigy, and I have everything I need. So now It's just like, for me, the $25 gift card to Hazy Shade, while I greatly appreciate what they've done and they've offered to the community, it doesn't do me any good because there's nothing I need.
Yeah.
So to bring this back into perspective, at this point, I think I'm okay with the trophy only, as long as the player pack is truly the value of my buy-in.
Yeah.
Not a stocked Undertaker pulled off the shelf. And those of you that I've talked to about this, you know who I'm talking about.
No more of this, please.
I will not name names for the sake of reputation. But I shouldn't be playing in a B tier and getting a stock Undertaker off your shelf as my players pack.
Yeah.
That's not value. That's not good.
Yeah. While we're talking about value, let me list off some of the things that can be included. Tangible disc golf items such as discs, minis, towels, the works. Apparel such as shirts, hats, or outerwear. food items such as snacks or catered meals. I'm hoping some catered meals would be awesome as a part of more players packs. Just throwing that out there. Or D, any other item that meets the requirements of the PDGA allowable, items toward the player pack value document. So that usually falls into the category of like gift cards. You know, you get a lot of times like here up in Michigan, and I'm sure like it's even worse in other places. Like you get Zanfel, you know what I mean? Like you get some ointment for like poison ivy and stuff like that's the kind of stuff you can get in your players pack. Um,
One of the nicest things I got in a players pack was 3 or 4 years ago. I played a tournament, and we got like I think 2 discs. I think it was a B tier. It was like 2 discs and something else, and they had a one of the quick sticks for retrieving out of water. I mean, that alone's $40 in the store.
Yeah.
Just a basic one is. Well,
Yeah,
no, I
that's
think they're
great
less
value.
than that. But yeah, it was really good value. Of course, the course had a lot of water on it, but so it made sense to
Yeah.
do that.
I'm you know, I think this is an interesting change. I ultimately think that this is a change for the better. For amateur players, like I think it's really tough because I think now there's more of a focus on like playing for your rating and things like that. I know
Yeah,
there a lot of the focus was like making bottom cash bare minimum like at an amateur tournament. And now you don't have that. So I feel like the focus is going to just change for people. You know what I mean? Now that the monetary part of it is all like settled before you even tee off.
right.
Um I think it's a good change, man. I think it's going to be different. I think it's going to put a lot of pressure pardon me on tournament directors, and this is fine. It's good pressure, I think, to deliver when it comes to players packs, to get creative, to do more than take a stock Undertaker off of your shelf. You know, I would love to see things kind of go back to custom stamp discs, like you were talking about. Like, man, I remember getting a custom stamp disc, like designs for every tournament and things like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like around here in Michigan, like we're seeing less and less of that. We're seeing more and more people just be comfortable just giving us stock plastic. Whereas like the care and the love that was put into um designs for discs for every single tournament, like those things are just kind of have been thrown to the wayside in favor of like mass producing tournaments. You know what I mean?
I think it's that, and I think it's also the fact that stores have excessive inventory later on. They're just trying to unload their inventory the easiest way possible. Now,
Yeah.
I think not only is, like you said, it's good for the tournament scene as far as having something to strive for besides last cash. You're trying to get a trophy or trying to win. I think this also holds TDs accountable to make sure they have a good value in what they offer to their players.
Yeah.
Like you said, stock stamp discs. I mean, I don't want a stock Undertaker. No offense to anybody, but I don't. I don't throw Discraft. I don't like Discraft as far as their plastic goes. Give me something useful for me. Now, I understand not everybody's going to be happy with every single player's pack. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with a gift card to Hazy Shade for my player's pack. You know, they have the Hazy Shade open down here. They give us a t-shirt, at least one disc. They gave us a little foil thing for putting on our shelf or whatever, include the player's pack. But then they also give you like $25 to $30 credit. And this is a B tier.
Yeah.
So I think that player's pack more than values what you get for your buy-in, like DDO. You know, DDO is what, $150 buy-in, but you get like $250 in value. So I think some places are doing it right, and unfortunately, those who are taking advantage of the system is why this is coming about.
Mm-hmm.
So
I will say, so well said too. You kind of took the words out of my mouth. I would love to see more gift cards for the local shops. Just give me, but I know like when Discraft sponsors, and we just keep throwing Discraft. Many other manufacturers are like this, but when they sponsor the event, they kind of like make you use, you know, Discraft or whoever the sponsor is. So like that's kind of unfortunate that you can't just offer up a gift card to your shop. But
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I've only experienced that in one area of all the places I've played tournaments,
it didn't used to be that way, man.
and that was
It
in
didn't
Grand
used to be that
Rapids.
way. Yep. You back in the day, man, and back in the day, back in my day,
What, 5 years ago?
you'd get a gift card as your payout to the store. You could use it right there on any
Yep.
plastic, or you could use it. But I mean, I understand TDs.
And here's the other side of this. And now I do not have evidence of this. This is all opinion based. But these TDs make bank off amateurs, giving small players packs. So they pocket from that, and then these amateurs are forced to spend money at their store. Dude, they're making a killing off of us amateurs.
It really just depends, because I'm not opposed to TDs getting paid for putting out tournaments, for sacrificing their weekends, or even just one day of the week. Like, it's a stressful day, man. They show up hours before we do. They pack up hours after we do. So it does take a lot to put on a good tournament, and they should get paid. They should get paid accordingly. I'm totally not against that, but I think it's going to do a couple things here. Okay. Number one, I think we may, and I'm not going to, maybe this is a crazy take. I think maybe we might see a small percentage of tournaments, just kind of like, we might see a downtick in the quantity of tournaments.
I'm okay
maybe
with
it's not
that.
big.
I'm okay
maybe it's
with
not
fewer tournaments as long as the quality is better.
Yes. And I'm not saying like tournaments are going to get cut in half, you know what I mean? But you might have, maybe overall tournaments goes down by 3 to 5%. I don't know. That'd be pretty bold, but maybe like in your local area, like you start seeing some tournaments drop off or not come back, because we're trying to focus on the value of each and every individual tournament, which is fine. That's good. I think that's good for the game to have tournaments that are valuable to you as a player. I think this is a good way to do it. The second thing that just one thing that just pops into my mind that I think we're going to see more of, and this I think is a caution to you as players. Like, to me, I've been burned by this a lot, and maybe you, probably not. I've been burned by this a lot. I sign up for a tournament, right? For some reason, I can't play. The PDGA allows for basically certain portions of your entry fee are non-refundable. TD discretion at whether or not they want to pocket that. And then as you get closer to the event, obviously, you forfeit more and more of your entry fee when you drop out like last second. I think you guys are going to see a lot less leniency with that, where, maybe a tournament director is like, okay, you drop the day after, they keep the bare minimum or whatever. I think you're going to start seeing TDs keep that maximum. So my thought process here is, if you're going to sign up for a tournament, make sure you're committed to playing that tournament, because the TD needs to protect themselves and the investment of the players pack. Now, the players pack is an investment of their time, of their money. They're planning it out even more meticulously. When you sign up for a tournament, be ready to play it, is basically what I'm trying to say. Because now they're going to be super justified in keeping the maximum amount that they can keep when you drop out. And I use that word justified. I think that is just what it will be. It'll be a justification for your dropout. So it just protects TDs in a good way, I think. So I would watch out for that.
All right. So one thing I did want to touch on real quick is the the option for TDs to cater in meals or food items. Now, me personally, now again, this is very one-sided. This is just from my opinion. I bring my food to tournaments. I don't like going out to get food. I don't like having to drive somewhere and like wasting my time, because for me, I'll eat my food. I'll make a ham and cheese sandwich. I'll eat that.
Yep. Me too.
In between, and I will sit there and truly rest for about 20 minutes or 30 minutes before I go out and warm up for round 2. So for me personally, catered meals and the TD bringing food in, counting towards my players pack, doesn't add any value to me at all. I might be an outlier. I might be one of 20 people in the disc golf world that are like that. But I think that's something for TDs to consider down the road. especially with this being in play now.
Well, the fact that you even bring that up is okay. Like, this is literally an example of the challenge that TDs are going to face. Do I sign up people for a catered meal? You can't win all the time because you might get a guy like me. I don't eat red meat. So if someone comes in and they do like a barbecue, pulled pork barbecue or whatever, like, I'm not going to eat that. So now that's money from my players pack that feels wasted. So
Right.
like, I say I would love catered meals, but it's like, they're not always going to have turkey sandwiches for guys like me. Like, people want hot dogs and brisket and pulled pork sandwiches and stuff. Like, those are great meals for in between rounds of disc golf. But like, half that stuff I'm not going to eat just because that's just my diet. So like,
Well, it's not even just that, and it comes down to you can't please everyone, and I get that.
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
I said, you and I are outliers on this, but at the same time, it's like you still have to bring value in for every competitor. So I just don't think catered meals is the way to go. Just any TD that listens, just take it for what it is. We're just a couple guys that play amateur disc golf.
Yeah, no, you bringing that up is one of the challenges that TDs will face. How do I make this valuable for everyone? Because there's already a duality to, catered meals. So,
right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of rethinking that has to be done.
Of course.
So moving on from that, moving on to part C. So we do have numbers for trophies. So we got some bare minimum numbers here. Each division must pay out a minimum number of trophies as listed below. TDs may offer more trophies than the minimum at their discretion, which is very nice. One player, if there's only one player, no trophy required. However, it doesn't mean you can't win one if the TD made one. In a division of 2 to 4 players, first place only, that's the minimum. In a division of 5 to 12 players, first and second place. And in a division of 13 plus players, you got to have a trophy for first to third place. So pretty good numbers, I would say, honestly.
Yeah, it's fair. And I think one of the reasons for this big change is, and actually I think this impacts the third-hand market or second-hand market on selling is people are getting these discs in their winnings. And like, you've done it. I'm sure I've done it. I know our buddy Kevin's done it. You get this disc in your payout. I'm not going to throw this. So what do? You put it up for sale.
Yep, exactly.
Immediately turn around and sell it the next day or within 2 days. You sold that disc because now you have actual value in your pocket.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
I like this trophy only change because I don't show my friends, hey, look at this disc I won at a tournament this weekend because I finished in 15th place and got payout. If I have a trophy on my shelf and I line my shelf with trophies, that actually sparks conversation. Hey, how'd you know those? Hey, I won, 6 tournaments this year and I got all these trophies from it. Like, that gives you something to talk about. It gives you a way to grow the sport more and bring people into it. Yeah. Just like if I had a 69 Camaro that I fully rebuilt, custom, ground up restoration, but I left the rust under the hood. That takes the value away from the car. Let's say you can polish a turd, but it's still a turd. In a sense.
100%. Yeah.
It gives you something to show besides a disc or a gift card.
And this is a me thing, okay? This is a me personal thing. When I get a disc, and this even went back in the day, for the most part, even if I got a custom stamped disc for a tournament that I did bad at, I will try to unload that disc.
Really?
That's just unless the design is like super sick, I'll try to unload it because I don't want to think about that tournament. I want to, you know what I mean? I don't want to look back on it. I just want to move on to the next one or whatever. I will unload even a custom stamped disc if I did bad at a tournament. Trophy though, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I like that's just kind of like, I don't know. I don't like to hold on to like discs from bad tournaments, but I am actually more excited to play tournaments with the trophy changes, honestly.
Same. I think it's good for tournament directors to keep them accountable. I think it's good for players because here's another thing. you're more likely to play better to not say, hey, I took first in AM4. I took first in AM4 again. I took first in AM4 again.
Yep.
You're more likely to actually move up and try to do better to work towards playing MPO or MP40 or cash payout divisions.
You know, listeners, you can't see this because I couldn't get my video to work, but we're talking about trophies, and I just want y'all to know I'm the 2024
please
understable fantasy football league champion, fantasy disc golf. I'm on my way to being a fantasy football champion, just so you know. 7-3. But yeah, I'm holding up the trophy now. It's a beautiful trophy. It's my second one in this league. I want to thank Kristen Tatar and Gannon Burr for all of their work.
Oh my goodness.
Trying to convince the guys to play keepers next year so I can keep Gannon Burr. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out y'all in the league and thank you. Thank you. I just want to thank you.
I hope you get last pick next year.
Anyway, so I'm excited for trophy only. I would love to add some more trophies to my mantle that I've got started here for real disc golf and fantasy disc golf. Anyway, Mark, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Did you have any other thoughts?
I don't think so. I think we broke this down quite well. So I finally accomplished one of the biggest goals that every disc golfer has.
Oh?
Yeah. Not even a month ago.
Okay. Tell us all
I
about
was
it.
so excited. I think I called you the day of. I called Kevin the day of. I tried to get a hold of people because I finally pulled in my first win. And I've been competing for 6 years. Well, 5 years. I finally got the first win. Now, we can sit here and say it's this division or that division. I only had this many people to battle against, but
who cares?
It doesn't matter. I won my division.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did I win my division, I won by 7 strokes. And I would have tied the next division up for the win.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? You would have tied? Wow.
Yes.
So you played lights out.
I actually just played very clean.
I was just going to ask, so do you feel like you played lights out, or do you feel like you just played your game? Do you feel like that you did nothing extraordinary? Like that's the true mark of playing great, of like getting better, you know?
So when I was talking to Kevin afterwards, I said I think I said it along the lines of I finally put it all together. My putting felt good, my drives felt good, my upshots felt good. Obviously, nothing is ever 100% in your plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get to your question in just a minute, but this win is actually extra special for me because it was at Echo Valley, which is #1 ranked in Ohio and is my favorite course, and it's a course I've always struggled at in tournaments. Like I'm talking double digits per round over.
Yeah.
So for me, I finally put it all together, and I started on hole 15 for those Dayton locals, the course. And by the time we got around to hole 7, it was a battle back and forth between me and one guy. He took a 7 on hole 7, and he just couldn't rebound from that. And I just stayed true to my game and didn't get any aggressive shots, didn't play any stupid shots. Hole 18, I laid up like I always do. And I just played very smart disc golf, and that's what led to the big win. I only checked the scorecard twice. Once after hole 9 and once before the last hole to see, okay, I know I'm in the lead. I know for a fact that I'm leading by at least 3 to 4 strokes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see where I'm at because it determines how I played the last hole. And I actually tried to lay up a 40-foot uphill putt with the wind with a distortion. I wanted to put it right at the base of the basket. It actually air bounced, hit change, and fell to the left side. I'm like, I'm trying to lay up, and I can't even do that right.
Yeah. Kevin and I were watching you. I feel like until the last 2 holes of the tournament, you only had I say only very loosely because it's all relative to how you finished. You quote unquote only had it was 3 or 4 strokes with, like 2 or 3 to play. You were up like 5 at one point, and then I think you dropped a 1 or 2 going down the stretch. But then I think you had put enough pressure on people where they made a lot of mistakes, and then you jumped all the way up to a 7-stroke.
Yeah, and that's what happened. Here we got the hole 7. There's an OB Creek in it. There's an OB field to the left once you cross the creek. And the guy I was battling with, I think he struggled off the tee pad.
Mm-hmm.
Got to the green or circle 2, hit the cage, rolled OB, re-putt, missed that putt, and then tapped in for a 7. And I took a par.
Yeah.
So that right there is a 3-stroke swing automatically, and I just kept the pressure on by sticking to what I had in my notes. And guys, this leads me to the amateur approach, because I'm just going to say it. Very bold in our document. Build your game plan and stick to it.
Yeah.
That's it. Build your game plan with how you dissect the hole and stick to that plan. Don't waver off it. Don't go up to a tee pad and say, oh, I've done this in casual rounds. I've thrown a backhand roller 380 feet in a casual round and try and do it in a tournament. It's not going to work the same.
I really want to dive into this a little bit because I'm actually fascinated by this, and I'm hoping you answer this a certain way. How did you build your game plan? Like, did you go out for a practice round? Did you make a document? Did you take a notepad? Are you taking mental notes? Like, how did you build a game plan? Because I do this a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
It works very well for me. I'm curious how you built your game plan. Like, literally built your game plan. Like,
so
how did you document?
I use Google Docs because it's just quick, easy. It's on my phone. I can pull it up. I don't have to carry paper, pen. It's just right on my phone. I already have my scorecard up, so just open the Google document and just flip between the 2 tabs.
I do the same thing, bro. I do the same thing. I'm so proud of you, man. I'm so proud of you. I do the same thing.
How do I formulate my game plan? I look at my best rounds that I play at a course. If I've played at like Echo Valley, I've played tons of rounds out there, and I look at my best rounds, I look at my worst rounds, and I say, okay, so what worked on my best rounds, tee shots, up shots, and so on, and what didn't work on these bad rounds? Kind of like your idea of the ceiling and the floor.
Yes.
What worked? What discs am I most comfortable with? What do I have the most confidence with? In fact, I barely threw a D1. I think I threw a D1 twice the whole tournament.
Wow. Okay.
I relied on my H3 V2s, which are similar to a Wraith. Not exactly the same in flight, but they're very similar. And I relied on my F3s.
Wow.
So I stuck with the strongest 2 discs in my bag for tee shots. I went with my MX3 for up shots. I went with the PA4 for up shots, then obviously PA3s because I putt with them. But I was actually looking at what I have in my bag, and I think I'm down to 8 or 10 molds total in my bag. And that's it. I don't have a lot of different molds. I don't have the disc for every shot. I've learned how to manipulate and throw my discs to the shots that I need.
Yeah.
Which, if you remember, one of your favorites said that when we interviewed him, Mr. Johnny McRae.
Yep. There's some people out there who love the 6 million molds, and then there's the Johnny McRaes of the world who like their favorite 6 molds and just beat them up accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, if you were to go down and bag 4 trespasses and different stabilities, different plastics based on what you needed, then I think your game, not necessarily you, Brandon, but I think your game will improve because now you take out the choice. Why am I going to bag a D1, a D2, a D3, and a D4? I don't need a Boss, a Destroyer, an Excalibur, and something else, whatever the individual equivalent is.
Yep.
I need 3 D1s at different stabilities.
Yep.
The feel is the exact same. The only thing difference is the flight.
Mm-hmm.
But I have everything covered. I have overstable covered, I have stable covered, and I have flippy covered. Same with my H3s. I have 3 H3s for that same purpose. I have 3 F3s for that purpose.
Yep.
So
there's a familiarity to packing a lot of the same mold.
Yeah. Now, somebody that we talked to will argue that it's a D series, it feels the same, and I completely disagree with that because to me, a D1 and a D2 feel totally different.
I don't know. I don't feel up that kind of plastic, man. I'm a trilogy guy.
Well, even then, like a trespass is a trespass. It's gonna feel like a trespass,
Yeah,
right?
it's not gonna feel like a rive.
Right. So why would you bag a queen for an understable shot, a ballista for your overstable shot, and a trespass for your straight shot when you can just get 3 trespasses and have the exact same feeling distance you're comfortable and confident with?
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, like maybe if you need like a utility super duper stable disc or whatever, like
Well,
I
yeah, and
have a
that's situational though. I have an
exactly
FX2 that I'm
exactly
predominantly forehand because it's utility. I can
right
flip it on a forehand, it goes laser straight and then finishes forward right.
right.
Although lately I've been using that for about a 260 foot upshot because it's just beefy, and if I need to get a big hyzer, that's what I throw. Because I
Yeah.
know it's going to finish left.
I mean, that's how I was treating my felons on
Yeah.
Brewer Reds. Remember, I was just like, I'm just gonna throw a big 260-foot hyzer. I'm just gonna
Yep.
put it up in the air and I know it's gonna land. Like I rip up half of the course with just a felon.
Yep.
So yeah, but hey, good stuff, man. Congrats.
Appreciate you, sir. So, yeah, I mean, with the amateur approach, like I said, just build your game plan, stick to it, figure out what works. If you don't have time for a practice round, I don't know. I don't have any advice for that. Look at
Take
pictures,
notes in
take
Take
notes.
notes in between.
Yep. Write down what you can, figure out what you're most confident with, and just throw those discs. If that means you're throwing a mid or a putter off the tee box for a position play, then so be it.
Mm-hmm.
Get through one round, get through the first round, conservative, and then dial in from there. Make some tweaks and some changes. So
It really does help me to write them down on like Google Docs or whatever, even if I never reference it. But like the fact that I've actually written it down at one point kind of anchors that into my brain. Because like I've had tournaments where I do that. I try to do that for every tournament. I list every hole and I list what disc I want to throw. Obviously wind can change some of those things, but like I've had tournaments where I don't even reference that document one time. But the fact that I wrote it down even to begin with helped that game plan stick in my head personally. That's just an experience that I've had.
And that's really what you're doing is you're setting yourself up to not question yourself. Because I think I looked at my game plan twice that whole Echo Valley tournament.
Yeah.
Because when I walk up to hole one's tee pad, I already know what I'm going to throw. Like before I even get there, I know I throw this disc 99% of the time, and it works. I don't need to look at my document to say, hey, throw the H3V2 off hole 1. I already know that's what I'm going to grab out of the bag.
Yep.
But the game plan, the written game plan is there because if I go to hole 1 and oh no, I now have a headwind. I know if I throw the H3, it's going to turn over and it'll be way right, which right really isn't bad.
Right.
But I have the note in there. Hey, on a windy round, throw the D1, play the stability shot. So you take the question out, you take out the doubt in yourself, and you just have that there to boost your confidence.
Yep.
So,
writing it down is basically making the decision before you even get to the tee pad.
Yep.
So,
and personally, I like playing in wind, and when I hear other people say, "Oh man, it's windy, I'm not going to play well," okay, cool, I got you beat. I love, especially at Echo, I love playing in the wind because I don't know, I've learned how to play in the wind. Playing in Texas, playing down here. I mean, we get windy days. I force myself to go play in the wind because that's how I'm going to get better in the wind.
I'd rather play in the rain than the wind, I think.
Not me. I lose grip.
I'm a better rain player.
All right. Well, all right, guys. So thanks for tuning in. Well, once we drop this anyway. Episode 55. Stay tuned for more. Till the next episode, keep it in the fairway.